Welcome to the Perfect Storm. Justin, how are we feeling today?
We're feeling well. We're here, Phil.
Haven't recorded for a while,
We're
Kyle.
We haven't, and this is an early morning production because our schedules are just so busy. We're just so important.
Yeah.
Did you wake up on time today, Phil?
I was right here, ready to go.
Oh, well, we're missing someone, but
The Sparrows were here when I was here.
yep.
So
Anyway.
it's good.
A lot going on in the world, folks.
There's a lot going on in the world. We don't have time for small talk.
We don't.
This is the Perfect Storm. Current news and Bible prophecy. What's your name?
Justin Lawman.
And
Kyle Morrison.
I'm Phil Yates. We are going to talk about blackouts. This is real. Is there anything behind this? We're seeing blackouts in Spain, Portugal, and France at the same time.
Yeah, massive. Biggest one, I think, in the history of Europe, apart from what happens in the war, Second World War. But, mate, they're not... I just watched the news report this morning on it, and they're not... They can't give a explanation. It seems cyber to me. I don't know, Kyle. What do you reckon?
Well, there's no power lines down, is there?
No,
There's no
it's
storm.
too big an area. And if it was a solar flare, there wouldn't be just that little spot. It's like half the planet would be gone. So there's lots of reasons it could happen. That they've gone on to windmills and solar like it's going to be
Just 2 weeks ago, apparently they hit 100% renewables and switched to that. So it might be related to that. It might not be.
We don't know, but I've got to say to everyone listening, if you watch the reports, you can't buy fuel. You can't buy anything at the shop because without electricity, our modern digital world freezes.
Yep.
There's a bit of a tip for the future, folks. Weirdly, Kyle, the European Union said about 4 weeks ago, please have 72 hours of water and food and
They gave a warning.
be
before
prepared. What are they doing giving that? We've never been told that in Australia. Why are they telling the citizens of Europe have 72 hours of supplies in case we don't have any electricity? So I don't know. There's something fishy going
They
on
knew
here.
it happened and wanted to prepare the people.
It's still not back on the power in some parts.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I reckon I'm a bit cyberish.
Yep. Okay. We're going to move on. We're not going to stay there. We're going to go to debt crisis. We've got a lot to talk about today, guys. So we need to churn through these things. We'll talk about the debt crisis. What's going on?
In a debt crisis,
Yeah.
it's been coming forever. It is like an iceberg.
You have been talking about this for a while.
Not an iceberg, a glacier. And it's
Glacier.
speeding up a little.
Yep.
And we're on the Titanic.
That's an iceberg. Mate, we're in... The world is in... I've never experienced or lived through anything, and you listening to this on the radio today or watching on YouTube, you haven't either. The world is coming to the end of this debt cycle. This is Justin's opinion, Phil. I don't know if it's Kyle's.
Well, we're not financial advisors.
But it's incredible. America, 37 trill. We've seen gold since we have done our program last. Gold has gone nuts. And as we keep saying, it hit 3,500 and then there's been some sort of intervention, bring that back down. It's going to go further because fundamentally, structurally, they are spending like drunken sailors and they can't stop. They know they need to stop. They're at 37 trillion, 1.2 trillion interest payments a year, 100 trillion every, a trillion every 100 days for the United States. We are now rolling faster and faster towards the biggest debt crisis that the world has ever seen because these are governments. This is sovereign debt. Not, okay, Kyle, it's not his credit card. It's not, there's a debt crisis for us personally, but this is nations now and Trump's tariff war with China. It's really with China. It is it has brought it all to the surface. I think that's why they're doing it. They're actually trying to deal with the problem, but the problem's probably going to deal with them.
Just quickly, I understand it. Countries are in debt, right? But who do they owe the money to?
Whoever buys their bonds. And people buy US treasuries, they're called, or US bonds, a 10-year bond. The yield they'll talk about all the time on the 10-year yield. And I'm sorry, at home, I'm sorry to give you all this boring stuff. But, hey, everyone looks at the stock market. The stock market is a casino. It's like whatever. It's up and down. It's round and round. They don't even seem perturbed when it goes up and down. Trump froze his tariffs the other day because of the bond market. And the real thing that if you want to look to what's going on with the global economy, look at the bond market and the interest rate. If it gets to 5%, it was at 3.5 or 3.8, and it jumped to 4.5 the other day. And all of a sudden, Trump froze his tariffs for 90 days. That's because he got spooked. Because they know what they're doing, these fellas, in the sense that, well, that this is their world. I'm not sure they know it ultimately, but that stopped the whole tariff thing because the bond went up. Not what the stock market did. They don't even care. They know it's a casino. But the bond market is how America can raise debt. They have to raise debt, so much debt. And the world has all of a sudden lost its appetite to buy it. That's going to cause such a financial crisis. So I don't know when, but man, this is happening in real time as this is going to air right now. Watch the bond market.
I saw a super interesting interview with Patrick Bet-David and his crew, and they were talking about how long it actually takes for trade negotiations to work out, because everybody's been upset at Trump for messing with the economies. And they pull up, lists of what are the fastest times ever that trade negotiations have been worked out. Now, there's one here between New Zealand and the United Arab Emirates of 4 months, but everything else has been 2 years plus that I've ever seen. There's some here that maybe 14 months between Australia and America, but 2 to 20 plus years is quite common for trade negotiations. So for Trump's tariffs to bring in so many countries ready to make a deal so quickly, it's actually been quite successful comparatively.
Yeah, he's got a plan. He's got a plan, but
so what's your thoughts on gold and silver? Is Trump gonna?
We don't give financial advice.
I know, but where's it going? Is Trump gonna? Is he gonna? Well, increase the price of gold and then clear the debt. Can he do that?
Okay, how much has Trump stopped? So he's come into power now for the second time. In his first time, did he stop the debt accumulation?
He wasn't able to.
They are on a train now, and they're kind of like pushing the brake a little bit. It's careering down a hill. You'd have to chuck out anchors and everything to stop the spend. Would cause a Great Depression now if they pull $2 trillion out.
But I see people on Facebook accusing him of murdering people because he stopped some aid programs.
Yeah, that's foolishness.
Why?
Whatever.
Explain why. Because this is what people think. This is what the news tells them. He and Elon Musk stopped some aid programs, and therefore people are dying in third world countries because America's so greedy.
I don't want to say what I think, okay, because I'll get kicked off
the air.
Just
say what somebody else might think.
You used that yesterday about people that wear glasses. That's what I wanted to use.
Right.
So,
but explain why. And by the way, I now apparently have to wear glasses for long distance.
It's a good thing that you do.
And glasses aren't a bad thing.
Glasses
Tell
are
us
great.
about it, Phil.
Well, you get used to
great. I've worn glasses most of my life. You don't realise.
Find the right set. Actually,
but anyways, it's a serious question because a lot of people are saying Trump and Elon are bad. They're killing people literally because aid projects that they were funding, they are now no longer funding. Therefore, they shouldn't have cut any of the aid stuff in the States.
They don't have the money. Please understand that since the financial crisis, particularly where they started the quantitative easing and printing of fake cash, putting it in the system through their 24 different institutions they feed it out to, they don't have this money. If you don't have the money, so Kyle, just say, we'll pick on Kyle and his budget. Kyle's budget, he's spending every week $2,000 more than he earns. Just how long will Kyle be able to do that for before you go to the ATM, doesn't work. America doesn't. They haven't had this money for a long time. We've avoided being in recession. We would now, let's pick on America.
Okay.
They would be in recession for years if you took the government spend out. You just take all the government and the government just runs a balanced budget. They're in terrible recession now and have been for years. But the way they avoid being in recession, because you don't want to get kicked out at the election, is we just go into debt. Let's go into debt. And, it feels good. But, hey, when's that going to stop? It will stop. It always stops.
But
the market will get you.
But why did they stop it now? They've been doing it for so long and saving all these lives, and now they're killing people by not
Because they
putting more
know
money.
China will take over the world. This is about two big superpowers now. And China is getting their military ready. They're getting everything ready. They've got a completely different economy. They send 5 times more to America than what America sends to them. America's the biggest consumer in the world. China's the biggest producer. So this is about those two powers. One's coming up and one's going down.
So are you saying less people will die this way than if we just kept going into a debt hole?
I honestly don't know how many people will die. Because I think this is going to lead to a war. So a lot of people will die.
But how is this solved? Like America's going down
Jesus
this.
steps back into history. Jesus will fix the world, and only Jesus.
Yeah, okay. So America's got no hope. They will.
America is the last power in Bible prophecy, and you can say, "Oh yeah, the Bible." This book gets it right.
Hang on, can you say that again?
Yeah.
This book, you have to replay it. This book gets it right, and America's going to beat China.
Right.
America's going to be the last superpower on earth. So I don't know how that happens, but I know it happens.
Right.
And right now they are in an economic war. America and China, it couldn't be more obvious that they are. It's not secret now. They've been cybering and doing all sorts of stuff behind the scenes. Now it's open. Trump has just laid it down, and everyone thinks Orange Man bad, and he's a chirpy fella. I don't agree with a lot of Trump, but what he's doing is bringing to the surface the underlying debt crisis. They are in a debt. America has been spending more than it earns. None of us can do that forever. And even America, they've done it longer than I ever thought they would. Obama had their foreign debt to 11 trillion and everyone was screaming. It's 37, folks. They're about to increase their debt limit by 5 trillion to take it to 42 trillion. The interest payments, like Victoria, you see this lockdown thing that came out in the whichever paper, Sydney, one of them.
The
Bombshell documents kept secret until now reveal that Victoria's public health commander was not consulted before the Victorian Premier Dan Andrews imposed a curfew that made it illegal for Victorians to leave their homes between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Wow. God bless Victoria, because you guys have been under it. From 8 at night till 5 in the morning, you can't leave your home. And what did that do to everyone? What did it do to the business?
Well, more than that, he says, the health director says, I've not seen any specific written assessment of the requirement for a curfew. There's no health benefit to a curfew.
No,
Power control.
It's power control. But here's the problem. Victoria, to avoid the financial crisis, went into debt to their eyeballs. Right now, today, every day, they spend $26 million a day just on interest payments on their debt because they wanted a curfew. Daniel. So whatever. Well, let's not go into politics too bad here in Australia. We can talk about overseas, but Australia, we be careful. But Danger Dan, he's got a $26 million every single day clicking away of interest payments. Interest payments.
It's a lot of payments.
And I think a lot of this, America's got to refinance $9 trillion of their bonds right this year. They want the interest to go down. Interest payments affect governments more than anyone else. So anyway.
Let's
Sorry.
go.
Was that a rant?
Well,
That's
no,
good.
that was good
The
information.
biggest thing we are living through is a debt crisis economically, and it's how do you fix it? You stop spending money.
Right.
Why
So
won't
they're
they
not in-
stop spending? Because we will not just have a recession, we will have a Great Depression.
So Trump and Elon, you're telling me, are not intentionally trying to kill people in third world
I
countries?
wouldn't have thought so.
Okay.
I wouldn't have thought. They don't have enough money.
Right.
And you imagine trying to get reelected and you cut the pension.
Mm.
Because that's if you cut Medicaid and Medicare and all these different things they do for hospitals. That's the sort of thing they're living beyond their means. So the military is $900 billion a year. China's trying to take over the world, so they cut where are they going to cut? They're trapped. They're trapped, and that's why the tariff seems a solution. Trump's trying to avoid the obvious that you have to do, because whoever cuts this as a politician, that's the end of their career. Because the pain that follows it will be so profound, you will never get elected again, probably for generations, that party.
So just how are the Trump's tariffs working out?
Oh, who knows? I think everyone's nervous because they want the party to continue. Oh, let China keep doing and we keep spending. They can't keep spending. So it's coming to a head. I don't know how this is going to work out. I think he's being bold. I'll give him that. But fundamentally, I don't know how.
So what you see in America, what Trump's doing, and everyone's yelling and screaming about it, is trying to, claw back some kind of money so he can kind of balance the budget in some kind of way. But he's got no chance of doing that, but he's just trying.
I like to simplify everything, and you can't always, but economies work when they have more production. You make stuff, and therefore you earn money. At the moment, America is consumption. He's trying to flip that so we start factories again in America. There's manufacturing because that's production, and that's how an old-fashioned way that's the simplest way you can explain. If I'm making something that's valuable, people give me money. But if I'm just buying, it's going. I'm just getting worse and worse and worse, and that's the difference. He's trying to move them so their economy can get some productivity, and if they get productivity, everything will improve. That's what he's attempting to do, and he's believed in tariffs forever. We're not defending Trump here.
Well,
We're just saying this is what's going on.
It's a win-win because if if he can produce real quick, he can win wars.
The thing that annoys me about Trump and America, they're blaming the whole world. Oh, this was their choice. This is America's choice. They didn't have to move everything to China. They did this, not China. America did this. This is a self-inflicted wound. And now they've woken up. Hey, this is going to end badly for us. We've got to stop this. Let's blame the rest of the world that we're in this situation. They have no one to blame except themselves. This is America's cause, America's fault.
Sure, but when I said win-win, I mean you get production, you increase the economy, but you also win wars.
Oh, mate, they're going to do it. They're going to have to do it. Yeah. And then AI is about to change the world economy again. It is changing the world economy.
So apparently April 14, Trump administration now negotiating with 135 countries on trade and tariffs. Great offers are coming in from Japan, Korea, India. So they would think it's actually working out for them because everybody wants a deal to get rid of these extra tariffs.
It may work. It's a big risk. It might work. Remember, up until 1913, America didn't have income tax. They raised all their revenue from tariffs. And they're trying to go back to that because they are such a big consumer, biggest economy on earth. If they just put a 10% tariff on the rest of the world sending stuff there, or 20%, they've got enough money that they're going to cut income tax for the middle class and the poor. I think that'd be pretty awesome if you were living there.
So it's really just about bringing the wealth back to the States, make America's rich again.
Yeah.
It's America's big companies paying the bill, though.
They have to stop the debt. The debt will destroy them. It owns everyone. In the Bible, you are a slave to your debtor. So they put themselves in slavery, and they did it willingly so they could get cheaper stuff. And is Australia any different?
No.
Well, mining is our big saviour. But
and gas, but we don't even earn that much from that. Have you seen the recent
I know
about how little they pay?
Companies are getting rich, mate, not Australians.
We're paying them billions to take the stuff out of the ground for free.
Yep.
Okay, mate.
Should we do a whole episode on this?
I don't want to talk.
I know
about
a guy
Australia.
we could get on here that has all the stats. You don't want to talk about Australia. This is an American
when we
podcast,
get into
everybody.
politics on this show, we can talk about America. When we get into Australian politics, we take sides, and I don't like that in Australia because we've got audience. We have people from all sorts of
People
walks
say
of
we
life.
take sides from America.
I
as
know.
well.
Who cares? I don't want to get into taking sides in Australia, but
Okay.
Australia, if China goes down, where we're sending our products, we need to get back to making stuff. We need to increase productivity. We should be refining our own oil.
Really?
We should be making cars.
What do we do with all the coal we've got? We're trying to get to 100% renewables.
I'm not going to.
Net zero.
It's
Isn't that the
nuts.
best thing?
It's nuts, mate.
If we don't do net zero, aren't we just killing people?
Well, this election, we've got an election this coming weekend, this Saturday. I've voted because I don't vote on the Sabbath.
Who did you
voted
Saturday's
too.
the Sabbath.
Who did you vote for?
It doesn't matter. So
Would you tell us, Phil?
Who I voted for?
Yeah.
no, he won't because we don't take sides.
No, but I'll give you-
in Australian politics.
Who do you think's going to win? You make a prediction on.
Wow. I don't think Albanese is going to go as good as the polls are saying. I really don't. I just don't
So
see it.
Dutton's won it.
No.
Is it a
I
landslide
think we're
or is
going to
it
get
a-
ourselves. My prediction is no landslides. It's actually pretty dicey,
Pretty
close.
Tight.
I think so.
You reckon Dutton's got it?
No, I don't.
Albanese by a pinch?
I really don't know. I don't follow Australian politics
yeah, but if you were
like
to
I do
if you were to
American.
guess, it's just your opinion. You're allowed to give your
If I
opinion.
was to guess, it'll be almost a hung parliament type thing. It's going to be very close.
But who's got it? Who's the Prime Minister?
I don't know.
Make a decision.
you tell
It's
me.
a shame we've only got
I
two
reckon
parties.
Dutton by a pinch.
Do you?
Yeah. I reckon I don't believe polls anymore. Everyone
No.
thought Trump was going to win, and Trump was
Not
not
everyone.
going to win.
Not everyone.
No, everyone, all the TV stations were saying, "Oh no, Biden's got it. Biden's got it." And then Trump in a landslide.
If I'll be honest, I'm an Australian, passionate Australian. I'm embarrassed by my fellow Australians because they're so naive to what's going on in the world. They are naive as all get up. And I wouldn't shock me if they put in, we get Albanese again. Wouldn't shock me.
So you think Albanese?
I think it's going to be really close.
Who would it be nice to see in there?
Anyone that gives us freedom. Governments are increasingly interfering into our lives, especially with freedom of speech.
Right.
I can't bear it. And I'm not sure that Peter Dutton is any better than Albanese when it comes to that issue. That's my issue. Freedom to speak gives me freedom to do everything else.
So Jared Rennick.
Who do you reckon, Kyle?
I'm not endorsing any particular political
Kyle, who do you
stripe.
think?
I'm not going to do that.
I don't know who I think. I think that most people are still brainwashed by the
Who's gonna
TV,
win? Just
and so therefore they'll probably
You
just
guys
put.
aren't making a guess.
If you let me finish,
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, Kyle.
Keep going, Kyle.
I think that they'll just put Albanese back in because Peter Dutton hasn't made a strong enough case. I wish they'd wake up and put Jared Rennick in.
Look at Canada. Canada just had their election, and the left side of politics has got in again. Now they have realigned the left, so it was divided before. So even though the Conservatives got more votes than have historically ever, they haven't got enough to beat the left.
Okay, so Justin Albanese.
No, I did not say
Kyle
that. actually.
Albanese.
I said
Phil
hung.
Yates. Peter Dutton.
I did not say Albanese. I can't make that. claim.
All right, let's keep it overseas. We've been too much here in Australia.
Well,
let's go back to
Canada.
the shore.
Canada tells you how on earth the Trudeau government, because they've been the opposite of freedom. I can't stand governments that rob me of my personal freedoms. Trudeau's government has been the worst almost in human history, and they just got re-elected. So go figure. What's wrong with Canada? I think Canada has a potential now, with Trump saying what he's saying, of actually some of the states like Alberta becoming part of the United States.
So it won't be the 51st state. There'll be like 56
It'll
or
just
how many
become
states in
another
Canada?
state.
Phil, how many?
How many provinces?
Yeah, that.
Here we go.
I want to say 8.
You're going to get
You
checked.
tell
on
us,
this,
I'm
mate.
going to fact check so bad.
Are you married to a Canadian?
That's a complete
I'm going to
guess.
tell Trish.
thought
I'm
you
going
were
to tell
married.
Well, I
Trish.
knew they were provinces, not states. How's that?
Yeah, I did. You did catch Kyle there. I'm going to tell Trish.
10 provinces.
Oh, no.
I
And
missed 2.
three territories.
I
So,
always miss none of it.
so 13.
You know, none of it's a province.
None of it.
None of it.
None of it.
I've actually got that on the board game. None of it.
Have you?
So 13. So it would be 63 states.
Well,
essentially.
maybe I'm being a prophet and saying 2 will join.
I tell you now, if Canada loses a couple of those big gas and oil provinces
Alberta.
to America, they're finished, mate.
That's a big hole in the middle.
I would not be shocked. Here's a prediction. I would not be shocked to see like an Alberta or one of those
Saskatchewan?
provinces or more than one actually join the United States so they don't have any tariffs. And their economy would boom in that particular area.
Be cheap gas.
And the
Everybody
fact
be
they
driving
went
over.
with, because remember that the left in Canada are aligning with China now. How's that going to go for America? They're aligning with China. They want China on board, and they hate Trump and his side. So what's going to happen next? I think we're going to see parts of Canada become parts of the United States.
Yeah, I just find it blows my mind how you can make them kind of predictions and not give me either Albanese or Dutton.
I don't Australian politics. I don't like it. It annoys me too much. So I don't really follow it.
That's crazy. Nothing annoys you.
Let's move on. Let's go to the protests in Ireland. What's going on with Conor
there's some
McGregor? He's wearing all kinds of nice suits that you're impressed with.
I tell you, that suit he was wearing on the day of the protest,
That's a nice suit.
mate. We're
There
going
it
to
is.
find one.
There
of
it
those.
is.
Probably
There it is.
60, 70,000 pound.
There we go.
Put it up big on the screen. And
Oh,
so if
right.
anyone can find this suit
Full
for me
screen
where
doesn't
it's for
work.
sale, Phil said he'll buy it for
No,
me.
whatever. That is.
I couldn't afford it, but it's a nice suit. Conor McGregor, who's most well known for throwing hands, he's a UFC fighter of probably one of the greatest in the history of the sport. He's had enough of Ireland, to be sure, losing its culture and overwhelmed with immigration, particularly Islamic. So he's gone into politics, and they had a protest on the weekend in Dublin and different places in Ireland that was like thousands and thousands on the street. They've got a real movement going there for the populace are coming again.
He's got a bit of a following too, Conor.
He's got we know who he is. Imagine how famous he is. The Irish, the fighting Irish. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is a movement to watch in Ireland, that they are part of the EU.
Is
and
he a
that's-
politician though?
He's said he's going into it. He wants it. He got interviewed by Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, but is he a politician?
no,
No,
he's a fighter.
Somebody commented here, had the misfortune of having to be in town today. All I can say is I've never seen so many dregs of society all gathered together in one place.
Oh, yeah.
A tiny percentage of our population, not to worry.
Well, I don't know. I think this guy, populism's coming to the fore. Now, Canada just elected a globalist. Globalism is
Like a hardcore globalist.
big time. He's all the way.
Here it is here. Let me pull it up. New Canadian PM Mike Carney. We have an enormous opportunity to bring climate change into the heart of every financial decision. We can deliver the net zero world that you've demanded and that our future generations deserve. How's that worked out for everyone else?
Here's the crazy thing. AI is coming over the world like a cloak that's going to own us. You need so much base power load for AI to run these supercomputers. Like your windmills and solar are not going to do it. They can't get it to work in times where there's no wind and the sun's gone down. So all of a sudden, your big corporations that were all climate changing, they're gone silent on the issue because the Bill Gates and everyone knows the future's AI, and they know that's not going to happen through all this. So these guys are behind the 8 ball on this issue. So's Australia, because we got to get on this bandwagon, because if all the world does and we say, oh, we don't want to go AI, we're done. We need our government needs these massive computers. It will be the worst thing that ever happens to us because their ability to intrude into our lives becomes amazing, what you can do with these supercomputing and self-learning intelligence, artificial intelligence. They need more power.
I don't think it's headed in a positive direction if they keep paddling that boat.
No.
Okay, another big issue going on is the Pope's replacement. What's going on there?
Pope Francis, he's a globalist as well. Trump and Francis hated each other, mate. The Pope said that Trump wasn't a Christian. He said a whole bunch of stuff. So they had the gloves off, those two, and now Francis has passed, and they had the big funeral, and Trump went to the funeral. The cardinals that they choose the next pope from, 80% of the cardinals were chosen by Francis, and Francis was very left-leaning.
So we're going to get another left-leaning.
Well, you'd think that, but here's the thing. Imagine if you got a pope that aligned with Trump and they became besties.
That wouldn't be in prophecy anywhere, would it?
Maybe it is. We should... Folks, if you want to know what the future looks like, you need to get this book we got on offer today.
That's a good segue.
It's called The Great Controversy, and it's available, Kyle. How do people get hold of this book, where it's going to reveal a few things about what's going on currently in the world?
They text the word storm, don't they, Kyle?
It is. It's the word storm, just the word storm. Text the word storm to 0482 082876. I'll read that again slowly so you can pull out your phone and type it in. It's 0482 082 876. And when you text the word storm, you'll get a bot that texts you back and catches your address and gets your information. We'll get that book out to you.
At the end of time, to think that the Vatican and the United States would be aligned would be pretty incredible, wouldn't it?
It's a good book, and it's not just wild predictions about the future. It's actually a thorough detailing of the past.
Very old book.
Yeah, written 1819. When was it written? 19...
it's being written in the 1880s.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
1880s. So...
1882.
So let's see what it says about what's going on in the world. Very interesting.
Kyle, over to you. Do we have any questions online?
Well, that would have been a great thing to pull up sooner.
You got him there.
You guys just chat amongst yourselves for a moment.
Question online. So anything to say more about the Pope's replacement and this funeral?
It would be incredible. Now, everything is saying... See, globalism, and I listen to my other fellow Bible commentators on all this stuff, and it's pretty awesome time we're living through. A lot of guys for a lot of years have said that globalism was going to bring it all in. I've said, no, it's populism. Here we have the two colliding. The globalists and the populists are ultimately all going to become one big group. But it seems to me it's the populists that are going to be winning the day.
So you've seen it in America, populist.
Those guys.
France?
Oh, they just tried to jail Marine Le Pen for 4 years or something, who is the number one opposition. She nearly won the last election.
Mm.
That look what they're doing to Trump. They've got to go to the courts to try and stop him because they can't win elections.
Mm.
The people are not with them.
UK?
And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The UKIP or whatever. What's the name of the guy that led there?
I wish I could tell you.
Aren't you the England expert? He's really. The Tories are a mess, and I think they're going to re-emerge far more to the right, like the Republicans have in the United States. The Irish, the German, just keep calling the names. Populism is on the march all over the world, and yeah, we'll see. What questions?
Couple of comments.
Comments or questions?
Mainly comments, I think.
And
so.
we apologise. We've been off the air for a couple of weeks. We apologise.
Well,
but
now
we've
one
been
of
busy.
those could have been my fault. It could have been your fault for not telling me what time to be here, but it could have been my fault for not hearing what time to be here.
Did you hear that, Phil?
It's twice
That's
now.
confession.
Yeah, I know.
That was
It
a
was
confession.
definitely happened today, but it possibly happened previously.
Maybe.
Kyle, what hat are you wearing?
Adventist Community Services.
Are these for sale? So people see them online? I've got one version.
They will be
I've got
soon.
the other version.
They will be soon.
I've got the country trucker version. Kyle's got the
City baseball.
keep your head safe,
Sun
don't
Smart.
get us.
sun smart
When you're
version.
bald, don't get sunburnt.
When they're
Get
available,
these.
we'll give the website. where they can
Adventist
get them.
Community Services, give us a little rundown of that. What is it?
It's an opportunity for the local church to help their community. That's about it.
So the community can see something coming. Where Adventist Community Services are serious about helping the community
Yeah.
and want to do stuff for the community for free,
Awesome.
isn't it?
Awesome
All
things going
free.
on.
Unless they run a food pantry and they sell things
So
for
good,
cheap.
mate. So this is good.
So this listener says, well done, gentlemen. Love this show. I've seen Justine a few times when he has visited local churches over the years.
That's
Yeah.
That would be without the E.
Justine.
Justine.
Maybe that's a bit of a troll there.
I don't know. Justine.
He has changed a bit. He sounds very different now. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Have you changed, Justin?
I wish I had.
Justin. Maybe you changed to Justine. I do. And then on the marriage tips, Justin, you featured on a 10-minute marriage tips, which is another show that we need to do more episodes of.
Yes.
We do.
The same person says, I didn't want this to end. So cool hearing blokes teach on relationships and feelings. That feels like another troll.
I was probably saying the stuff about the feelings.
Well,
Here's a
you're
question.
feeling-
Will you be addressing Jonathan Berry being nominated as Solicitor of Labor in the USA? He'll soon be in charge of the department responsible for making laws about blue laws that enforce a day of rest. He was apparently involved in the Project 2025 papers.
He was.
And I believe that Ellen White said that Sunday laws will start with labour laws. And I have heard this several times, but I'm not sure of the quote.
That's why people, maybe I've been one of them, has made a big deal of Project 2025 and the 6 pages in there about labour laws regarding Sunday and giving more hours, like higher
More
pay,
higher wages on Sundays.
and trying to restrict the way people are being used to work on that time. We're watching that because that book that we're promoting at 0482082876 will tell you this is going to become prominent. This is going to become a big feature of the future.
What makes you so sure that what is written in this book might actually come to pass?
The great controversy, because it's based on the Bible.
Right.
And I'm so sure about the Bible, mate. That's just burn at the stake stuff. It's based on the Bible. It's telling you, it's explaining the Bible to you.
Gotcha.
That's what it's doing.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm so sure.
Wonderful.
Good.
Phil, might make it a short one.
Yeah,
These early hours.
We'll close her up. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Kyle. Been amazing today.
Thanks for having me 1 hour late.
It's all good. Until next time, join us on The Perfect Storm.